Yes,
we're about to start. Morning, you, Julia.
That does.
Good evening. I'll call this meeting of the Cartersville City Council to order. If you'll please stand for invocation and pledge.
Good evening. Let us pray. Oh, Heavenly Father, we thank you for this opportunity to come before you to do the business of the city. We thank you for bringing us through another year and let us see the dawn of a new year. We thank you for the city of Cartersville, the things we are doing, the progress we are making. We thank you for the work of this council on agreeing and disagreeing, but nevertheless moving forward. Father, we look forward to the coming year and the things we have going on and the things we're going to do. We ask you to come down, be in the midst of us, guide us, and direct us that we do what's best for the citizens of Cartersville, Georgia. And we'll be so grateful. It's in Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Please join me in the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Let's strike the roll, please.
Carrie Hodge, Ward 1. Here. Jay Stepp, Ward 2.
Here.
Carrie Roth, Ward 3.
Here.
Calvin Cooley, Ward 4.
Here.
Gary Fox, Ward 5.
Here.
Alyssa Cordell, Ward 6.
Here.
Thank you, Julia. First order of business is the approval of our council meeting minutes from December the 18th. Council, you've had an opportunity to look these over, and now would be the time to make any edits, corrections, or if there are none, a motion's in order.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
And the minutes are approved unanimously. Chair will entertain a motion to add 3 items to the agenda.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
3 items added. Mr. Menino, if you will jump on in. We have an appointment to the Planning Commission to start
Yes,
things off.
thank you, Mayor and Council. Mr. Don Jackson is recommended for the Ward 5 appointment to the Planning Commission. He'll be replacing Greg Culverhouse. This term will expire on January 31st, 2030.
Thank you very much. Any discussion on this item? If not, a motion's in order.
Motion to approve.
Second. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Next item, please, Randy.
Yes, Mr. Thomas Tucker is being recommended for appointment to the Board of Zoning Appeals to replace Linda Brunt. Her unexpired term will end June 1st, 2027. At that point, he'd have to be reappointed.
Thank you. And any just questions, comments, or motions?
Motion to approve.
Second. All in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Motion carries unanimously. Ms. Drake, you have the next item.
Yes. With the election in November, our mayor and Ward 1, 3, and 5 council members were approved to continue to serve, and I would like to swear them in.
I'm sorry, I wasn't listening. What are we doing?
Getting sworn in.
You want to go down there and stay here?
I think right here is just fine.
All right. Well,
For me, I mean, y'all go wherever you want to.
All right. Well, if all 3 of you will raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that you will support the Constitution of the United States and of the state of Georgia, and that you will in all respects observe the provisions of the charter and ordinances of the city of Cartersville, and that you will faithfully discharge the duties of the office of mayor and council, so help you God?
No, because we moved this in extra.
That was easy. Mr. Lovell, you'll announce the next item. We have the appointment of our municipal court judges.
Yes, Mayor, it is recommended by court staff that y'all reappoint Perry White as senior judge and Jay Choate as associate judge for the municipal court, and they are both here ready to be sworn in.
Does that take a motion and approval from us?
It does.
Okay. Chair will entertain a motion.
Motion to approve.
Second. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Thank you all for your willingness to serve, assuming that you're going to make it through the swearing-in ceremony. Julia will take care of that.
All right, if you will both raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that you will support the Constitution of the United States and of the state of Georgia, and that you will in all respects observe the provisions of the charter and ordinances of the city of Cartersville, and that you will faithfully discharge the duties of the office of municipal court judge and assistant judge, and that you will truly, honestly, and faithfully discharge the duties of this office to the best of your ability without fear or favor. So help you God.
I will. I will.
Thank you. If you will both sign here. Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank y'all for your willingness to serve and for your service to the city.
Well, thank you. It's a real honor and a privilege, and we look forward to working with the city and making the city court as good as possible.
Thank you.
I just want to add, it's a privilege to serve the city. I mean, a place where I grew up, my parents grew up, grandparents. I mean, we have a great city, and you know, your court staff is just jam up. They're as good as they come, and so you should be proud of who you have working for you, and we appreciate the opportunity.
Thank you. We get complaints about the attorney, but other than that, we hear everything good.
I didn't say anything about him.
That's staff, not prosecutor, yeah.
Thank you, Jay. Thank you, Harry. Speaking of Mr. Lovell, I guess we have to approve their contract now that they've been sworn in, so why don't we do that?
This is a new contract for them to serve. State law has changed. Instead of them serving annually every year, they now will be serving for a 2-year term. So the new contract does reflect that. It is recommended by staff for your approval.
Thank you. Any discussion? If there's none, a motion's in order.
Motion to approve. Second.
All in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. And motion carries unanimously. We also have the opportunity to approve the city manager agreement tonight, Mr. Lovell.
Yes, Mayor, it is my understanding that y'all wish to retain Mr. Porter's services, and to do that, y'all need a new 2-year contract with him, which will expire in January of 2028. And at that time, if he still wishes to continue, y'all can make that decision at that time.
Absolutely.
It is recommended for y'all's approval.
Thank you. And council, I appreciate the conversations leading up to tonight. And Dan, I want to thank you for your leadership, your energy, the many contributions just over the last 2 years in that seat. I know it's been several more than that you've been contributing to the city, but we're proud to have you run the ship, and glad that we've got this agreement, hopefully getting ready to be approved. Thank you. So, that being said, Chair will entertain a motion.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
And motion carries unanimously. Mr. Menino, if you will get us started with AZ 25-04.
Thank you again, Mayor.
Hold a
and
second,
Council.
what did I do? I made a mistake. I said I was going to do something. It's written down right here, and I didn't do it. Randy, would you please be so kind as to wait just a moment?
Sure.
In the work session, I told Mr. Greer that we were going to take care of his added item so that he wouldn't have to, so he can get on and enjoy his evening.
I was going to
And
sit back
even though
there
it's written right here, and I looked right at it, I just ignored it. So good evening, Mr. Greer. How are you?
Good evening. I am well.
Good.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. This item is the requesting approval to pay Brander Group Incorporated $12,288 for a block of 512 IP addresses. These IP addresses are what we assign to new Fibercom customers so they can browse the internet. This is to supplement our current block of IP addresses that are nearing depletion. It's not a budgeted item, but funds are available, and we recommend this for your approval.
Thank you. And I guess I could have asked this in the work session. How long will that block of IP addresses?
Depends
just
on how
as a
many
guess.
customers we
Sure,
sign.
but-
2.5 years. They control them pretty tightly, so I can't just buy as much as I want. So,
Gotcha. All right, thank you for that. Any other questions for Stephen on this? If not, a motion's in order.
Make a motion to approve the part. Second.
All in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Motion carries unanimously. Thank you. Have a good evening. And Mr. Menino, thank you for your flexibility and for giving up that podium. I know you didn't want to because you want to make Stephen sit through this, but we're going to open up the case for AZ 25-04.
Yes, thank you again, Mayor and Council. This is a second reading of a proposed annexation and zoning request. The property is currently zoned general industrial in the county. They're looking to rezone approximately 19 acres into the city with the light industrial zoning category. It's off of Old Mill Road, below Chemical Products Old Plant. With that, the Planning Commission did recommend approval of the annexation and the zoning. There have been no additions or changes since the first reading. There has been discussion about the access to the property, but there have been no additions or changes from our part.
Okay, thank you. Questions for Mr. Menino at this time? Thank you, sir. I'll open up a public hearing, and if you didn't sign in the front, I'd kindly ask you to do it at some point before you depart today if you choose to speak. But we're going to take up, the order is we're going to have a public hearing on the zoning portion of the request AZ 25-04, and I'll open up the public hearing. The applicant has the first opportunity to speak.
Thank you, Mayor. My name's Howard Smith, 150 Cherokee Circle. Throughout this process, you've heard from one opponent who opposes my use for this property. However, several years ago, that same person came in front of you and asked for the property adjacent to and in front of his farm to be zoned heavy industrial. Next slide, please. This is a copy of the application signed by Billy Wright, requesting a heavy industrial zoning, quote, to change the use to the highest and best use of the property. Next slide, please. So this is the concept that he was agreeable to, right next to his farm and in front of his house. 1 million square feet of high bay warehouse space, 200 dock doors, 96 truck parks, 261 trailer parks, and 465 employee parking spaces, all within the heavy industrial zoning district. How can he be okay with this but object to what I'm trying to do next door? In summary, my proposed use is relatively quiet, low daily activity. It conforms and is allowed under the light industrial district. It's consistent with other uses in the area, does not cause a decrease in property values, and the Planning Commission voted unanimously to approve it. So I respectfully ask that you approve my request for annexation and rezoning. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions for the applicant this time? Thank you, sir, for your comments. We'll open up, continue the public hearing. Anybody wishing to step forward, speak for or against may do so at this time. And if you would, when you do, as your name and your address so that our clerk can properly have that in the minutes, please.
Good evening. Yeah, my name is James Foster. I was not, my address is 112 Old Mill. I'm the owner of the property adjacent to this now.
Thank you.
I was out of the country when you guys had that first hearing, and give you a little background. I'm the founder of Etowah Crown Equestrian. I'm hoping to put together here in town, and I haven't had the opportunity. We've been doing some pre-development due diligence, and in fact, I'm the one that introduced Howard to the owners of the property. I put the team together that bought the chemical plant. And so my role with that was I now own the lab at 112 Old Mill and the old hydro plant as part of my deal, which we were going to turn the old hydro plant into a beautiful restaurant on the river. We're still in the planning, and we'll meet with the city and talk about how that's going to look and tie into the equestrian park. When I acquired the site, or was going to acquire the site for the team, I saw the horse track. And I saw this lab building, looking at this horse track. I'm in the horse business. I have 6 daughters that ride, 2 professionally. And we've been looking across different parts of the country for an equestrian event center. We've gone to World Equestrian. We've gone to World Equestrian Ohio, Aiken, South Carolina. Cartersville has an opportunity to have one of the largest equestrian event centers in the country to compete with World Equestrian Ohio and Aiken, South Carolina. I don't know that we could compete with World Equestrian Ocala unless we want to put a 5-star resort hotel in the front yard with it. But that's the kind of opportunity that is there after I got to meet Mr. Wright. And I spent a lot of time with him looking at the farm, looking at the history. There is a very historical event there that his family has had over the years. And so when I looked at the property, we started doing some due diligence. I talked to some investors. There is some adjacent properties that we would like to try to acquire. And when I met with Howard, in fact, I had Howard, when we first spoke, he was talking about putting semi trucks up on the highway. And so when I told the partners, I call them partners, but the team that I put together, that's Terra Reform, who owns the chemical plant now, about Howard looking for some land, there was no discussion that we were going to start selling this piece off over here, which my building is just below, right in front of the horse track. And so I saw Howard driving through there one day, and I was like, I thought you were buying pieces up front. And he could see I was like shocked that we're talking about putting 100 semi-trailers right in front of a horse track in a potential big equestrian event. This presentation will be, again, brought to the city to see if there's some real interest to have that here. We're talking about a $100 million investment. We have the letter from the investors. There is a piece of property that Mr. Wright owned previously that goes north up to Old Mill Road that may be the Achilles heel. We probably would need that piece for the main entrance and the main barn. The main event arena is about a $20 to $30 million arena. I live in Nashville, south of Nashville. It's 3 hours, a little over 3 hours away. When you do an equestrian facility, there's rules. We would not be competing with Ocala. We would not be competing with Ohio. We would not be competing with Aiken, South Carolina. We would be competing with Nashville. But that horse park is closing. They don't have indoor arenas. My girls go there all the time, and they have show dates. So we looked at buying that company out, take those show dates, bring them to Cartersville, Georgia, and have a destination for the equestrian community here. With that being said, it just doesn't make sense whether we did the equestrian or not. Even with my lab, we talked about it's a 12,000 square foot building. We talked about converting that into a large animal vet clinic that would be tied to the park. And we have maps and things and architects. In fact, one of the architects that we're bringing to the table actually designed the World Equestrian. And we're talking about a real event center that could be a game changer for the city. And with all due respect, with Howard, what he's planning on doing there, that would really make the investors nervous to have a bunch of semi-trailers coming and going. There's no access for the road around our building and around that racetrack. It's literally a single lane asphalt road that I guess belonged to the Wright family at one time, or my dually barely fits through there. When you go in there, you see people coming back to the farm with horses. So I digest, but the Terra Reform didn't know I was actually looking at this equestrian opportunity, and I didn't know it existed until I met with Billy. We did an agreement with Mr. Wright that we would lease the farm from him for 100 years, 99-year lease. Investors are going to want that. He could protect his farm for forever at that point, put it in a trust, and generate, wealth for his family for years to come, and the city would benefit a huge tax revenue base. The other part that our investors really liked is, I didn't know much about it, but you got that sports park just north over by I-75. I know there was a lot of controversy about it being successful, but that really excited them because they see that not only would they be willing to invest in the horse park here, but even a large hotel on the same property. I've been talking to the Terra Reform folks, the team that I put together that bought the site, about, I call it the swampland, and buying that from them for a hotel space. That would be a phase 2 project. This just happened to come together at like a wrong time because we were doing so much due diligence, getting people involved in the architectural, meeting with Mr. Wright about the farm, looking at his farm, see how much work it did. We did a budget. It'd be requiring all new roads, new fencing. We want to save his historical barns, make it part of the event. And so all this due diligence was going on. I had a lot of traveling going on. I missed the first meeting. I didn't know, the intentions when I first introduced to Howard, where this was all going. And now we've got an opportunity to do something really big there. And I think the city would, I can't speak for anybody, but might rather have a big equestrian event opportunity there than 100 semi-trailers being parked. Even if it was just around my building and the Dillinger's building, we wouldn't want to see that. Whether I do an office there or it becomes a lab or a vet clinic, that kind of traffic on that road, it would be horrible. Outside of that, the core message is, I know the zoning, I don't think the zoning was something that would really affect us, because eventually if we were going to do this equestrian park, we're going to have to come back and ask for some rezoning to do the whole park with ag. I don't know if it would be ag or what your requirements would be to rezone it to allow us to have equestrian event of that size on that property adjacent and around. I did speak to one property owner in the north. That would be the building that's north of the space that Howard's trying to buy. He's holding out for a pretty penny, but that site right there, we'd be willing to pay for that amount for what he's asking, because it ties into the main arena and would be a great facilities building. So all the tractors, the jumps, all the equestrian equipment could be held in that part of the property. And so the real message is, even if the parcel is rezoned, it does board residential. You have farms over there, horses. I have horses. If I owned that property and I had my horses out there, I wouldn't want all that truck traffic. And I know it's supposed to be partial. All I asked you to do is pull up some aerial views of 50 to 100 semi-trailers parked on 10 acres or 20 acres and see what it looks like. The constraints, practical public safety, infrastructure issues. To give you just a little background on my development experience, I'm also the owner of Fed Environmental. We're licensed in 8 states. One of the reasons why I put this deal together is we'll self-perform the environmental cleanup at the site and have a local office here. We have an office in Tennessee, one in Port Allen, Louisiana. And then I'm also a partner and developer for a $700 million ethanol project in Iowa. And we got that all the way through permitting, rail design approved, and our air permits in place. So I've been through this process. This is not normally the process we would go through to bring a new project to this scale to the city, but I had to get up here and at least let you know what we were talking about, potentially getting ready to do within the next 6 months. If we were able to secure those properties that I spoke of, be sitting with the city and talking about a $100 million project of an equestrian facility in the city of Cartersville. That 50-acre parcel that Howard talked about, and I had no clue that Mr. Wright wanted a big industrial park like that. That would be a deal killer, and that's the conversation. I talked to. I've got my attorney Danny Deems here, real estate attorney, who helped me do all my recording for the properties. Getting me a meeting set up with that particular landowner. He knows him, to talk about his interest in either partnering up with us or selling that property for the equestrian park. That would make a great entrance to a beautiful arena. I think that opportunity that I'm talking about didn't exist when maybe Billy approved that 50-acre having commercial, but it would definitely be a deal killer for an equestrian event of that magnitude. And if you look at the maps that are around the property, with the chemical plant coming down, it makes it very thorough that all the industrial is now on this side of that entrance to this land. And if you take this parcel here, which I'd love to have a proper presentation for you sometime, this could all be part of the park. One large equestrian with about 170 acres. There's already been some talk with the development that's going across the river here to bring a bridge over so the people that live in that community can access the equestrian facilities on Billy's farm. And when you take a look at the history there, that's just kind of stuff we want to preserve for Mr. Wright's family. When you take a look putting that type of a facility together that's in the horse industry. So there is some other items that we definitely have to get through for due diligence. This just happened to come up. I'm not trying to prevent Mr. Howard from Smith from buying the property. I just don't want semi-trailers in there. We'd be happy to bring him in on the equestrian deal as well. I was talking to him a little bit about that when we started. So we're asking the city to, not pick winners or anything like that. We're asking the city to protect long-term capability, recognize that the Etowah Crown Equestrian is a priority economic development opportunity currently in due diligence, and pause the conditions of approval that would enable heavy semi-trailer storage and immediate adjacent to the Wright family farm corridor in my property that could potentially be a large animal equine hospital. We asked this support a compatible land use and framework around the farm, commercial mixed use, agricultural, equestrian, something more to that fact. Allow us time to do due diligence to meet the adjacent landowners, present a formal package under the NDAs that we have to send out. And then in closing, a truck storage yard can go almost anywhere. In fact, when I was talking to Howard, we thought it was going to be up on the highway. There's a lot of beautiful space inside that chemical plant. I just wasn't aware Terra Reform wasn't ready to sell that. But an equestrian destination with a event center like that, riverfront hospitality anchor with an equine hospital, that would belong here in Cartersville. And I think that site could be just amazing for this community. And so once the area becomes heavy industrial, it's extremely hard to reverse. I respectfully ask that you protect the opportunity while we complete due diligence and bring you a complete formal package on what we're going to be doing.
Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate your time.
Thank you for your comments. We'll continue on with the zoning portion of the hearing for AZ 25-04. Anybody wishing to step forward, speak for or against may do so at this time.
I got it. But you can't wait for this. Hey, great to be here. What I want to really point out.
Billy, if you would, state your name and address for the clerk.
Okay, Billy Wright, Oldman Farm, Thompson, Wyman, Access Road. Good to see you guys. What I'd like to talk about are some of the logistics of this situation that we have here. Because I'll tell you what happened. And back in 1940, my great-grandfather was starting Thompson Wyman. He built this road for access to property that he had just bought to come up to my house. I've always thought of it as a driveway. It's a Thompson Wyman driveway. It's never been a public road, never been fixed by the city. And I believe that when my grandmother and Jimmy Dellinger, after my great-grandfather passed and Ray Dellinger passed, they came to an agreement that nothing would ever be done on the right side of the Thompson Wyman access road. It was a driveway. I don't see anybody that has come up with any deeds or anyone that says that it's not my road. I have a deed that says that it is not by prescription, but I can give this to Keith after this, that says access. It's a long thing. It's written years ago. But nobody's come up with the deed to the access of that road. And my group, when I was with Jimmy Dellinger years ago, and he asked me to sign something for part of the property on the right side of the road to be rezoned just like an acre, half acre. He told me, he said, this is just to put this lubricant on the chips that go in your cell phones. And nothing will ever happen to the right side of the Thompson Wyman driveway. And he said, after all, chemical products is always used 293 to come in there. So legally, I don't think anyone has shown access to that road as to whether the property on the right side of the Thompson Wyman driveway up to my house can be rezoned or accessed. And I believe I have the paperwork that will show that it's grandfathered in as the Thompson Wyman Road. And so that's one of my objections to passing this thing tonight, because of access. My second objection to passing this thing tonight is because I don't think that the city has ever, Matt maybe can tell me, Keith, you guys could tell me, has the city ever annexed property out of the county, taken it, put it in the city, zoned it light industrial, and put it next to a residential property? I'm zoned residential. I don't think that this has ever happened before. I don't think it should happen now. I'm wondering if there's ever been a traffic study on it. I'm wondering if there's ever been a buffer study on it. I'm wondering if there's been a stormwater runoff study done on it. And I'm also worried about the fact that part of the property that Howard, he hasn't even bought the property yet. Part of that property is in land lot I don't know what it is, 273 or 673, but I'm in the middle of that land lot. So is that something that, I don't know if it's legal or not legal, but I do know that the usage for the proposed annexation and rezoning is not really comparable to residential and what I have. And I basically kind of think it's wrong, and it's not part of the planning of Cartersville. And I'm opposed to it, and I hope you'll not do something you've never done before. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Wright. We'll continue on with the public hearing, the zoning portion of AZ 25-04, and ask anybody else who wishes to step forward at this time and speak for or against. That, seeing none, well, I'm going to, if there's nobody else, you get the opportunity to speak last, basically a closing statement. So, seeing nobody else, yeah, I was just giving it a couple seconds.
Yeah,
Sorry about that.
Thank you.
I do have a couple questions for you before you start.
Yeah, that's fine.
This property is currently in the county and zoned industrial, which I'm phrasing as a question, but I'm just wanting you to confirm that.
That's correct.
And so if you chose not to put this in this, if you never came before us at all and wanted to do what you're planning on doing, would you be able to do that?
Yes, even more so. It's more liberal zoning in the county.
Okay, go ahead.
All right. First of all, Old Mill Farm hasn't changed in 40 years. And now, coincidentally, the month that I come up here and try to buy this property, there's these grand plans for this equestrian park. I've been talking with the Dellingers since January of last year. I've been talking with the new owners of Chemical Products since August. I met with Randy and David in August about this. There's been plenty of time for somebody to else buy this property instead of me. So I just want to say that this didn't just pop up overnight. I've been working on this a long time. Could you go back to my presentation and go to slide number 4, please? So I'm going to show you some of the images that you'll see driving down the drive that will access my property and then on back to these gentlemen's property. Next slide, please. This is just another image of some abandoned buildings, railroad. Next. This is actually some type of water collection system and some tanks. And you'll see there's a rail line right there just off the road. Next slide, please. Abandoned manufacturing site.
I'm sorry, that's all being demolished.
Next slide, please. More buildings. Go back 2 slides, please. Right here. All right, so you can see how close this rail line is to the driveway. If the owners choose to reactivate this rail line, then there's going to be regular train car traffic up and down that track, loading, unloading, outdoor industrial activity, the same distance from the farm that my property is. I don't know how what I'm doing is any less appealing than what's going to be going on across the street, 15 feet from the edge of the driveway. So just wanted to share that with you. A couple other things. It says it's easy to go find a truck storage yard anywhere. Help me find one. I've been in this business for 15 years. I'm on 3 different yards right now, and I finally get an opportunity to consolidate this together. One of my yards is directly across the street from an apartment complex on Redcomb Drive. No issues. We have little traffic. We've never had a complaint from a resident across the street for noise or traffic. A lot of people confuse this with a trucking business. It's not a trucking business. It's more like a pods type business. When the trailers are sitting on this yard, they're just sitting there. They're not trucks idling. There's not people loading and unloading freight. They're just sitting there. And so when a customer calls and says, hey, I need 2 trailers or a trailer, we send somebody in there to get it. They take it to their location. They either leave it there, they run around town with it, whatever. That's the nature of the business in a nutshell. So I really don't have anything else. I just, again, ask you to approve my request.
I'd like you to address the road that's in question is not a public road, so from my perspective, there's not, I mean, to me, that's more of a civil issue, but can you speak to that road? It was brought up that, how can you assure, I guess, if you were to go through with this, that you have access to use that road?
We've checked title, so the local attorney I'm using to close the transaction has checked title. It's clean. They're going to issue title insurance. I'm getting a loan to buy this property. The bank's going to require that we've got clean title and good access to that road. That's all I can tell you is according to the title search we've done, the people that I'm buying the property from have clear title to the property, and in addition to the property I'm buying, I'm being given an easement that they can grant because they own that part of the property to get in and out of the property.
Okay. Are there any other questions for the applicant?
I need you to clarify what you asked him to begin with.
Okay. Well, again, with the caveat that this is not a public road and we don't oversee, but how does the road that's in question that we've heard Mr. Wright have the discussion about the access to that? My question to Mr. Smith was essentially, does he have confirmation that he does have access to that property should he buy it? And he said that the people that he's buying it from have shown a clear deed to that, or if I misstated that, you can clean up what I said.
That's correct. In fact, ICT, who owns the property in front of me, you know, they have the same access I do, and they're going in and out of there every day. The Dellingers have the same access I do. They're still going in and out of their office. They retain their office building down there. Keena and whoever else works for her, they still go up and down that driveway. And they got an easement from Terra Reform to be able to continue to go back and forth, even though they sold the surrounding properties to the new folks.
No, but what I understood him to ask you was, the property is currently in the county.
Right.
Oh, I'm sorry, the first
So if
question.
you did not want to annex in, you wouldn't be having to go through all this.
Correct.
I'm sorry, I thought you meant the second question. So, yeah, and again, I'll restate relative to whoever or whatever entity owns that road, what the condition of that road is, how wide the road is, could it handle what he's wanting to do on that road? It's not a public road, it's on private property, and it's really up to the private property owners to figure that out. If there's a dispute, that's what civil courts are for, to determine who the rightful owner is or what happens on that. I don't think that portion of that falls into the purview of us considering the zoning portion of this, so.
I will state on that as part of the development review process, you know, one thing they have to show is that they have access to the road subject to the standards that are contained in the city's development regulations and also the zoning ordinance. So before the city actually issues any permits or anything, they will have to provide proof of that to the satisfaction of Randy's office and Wade's office.
Okay. Thank you for that.
And there's city facilities back there that we have to have access to?
Yes, there is an old water treatment facility down there at the river that's at the end of that access road that the city actually has an easement all the way from Old Mill down to that we have the right to go in there and access.
And then the standard of that road all the way to our access is whose responsibility?
I've not looked at the agreements between the other property owners out there, whether they have agreements with respect to each other on who maintains that road and in which percentage that is done. I will state the city has no obligation to maintain that road. Our obligation is just to use it for access to our property. And now, if we need to do something to provide access to it, the city can do that. But what the agreement between the adjoining property owners of that road are with respect to who's responsible for maintenance of it, that I cannot say.
Is it possible to address the photo there real quick?
I'm going to allow that as long as the caveat is, again, the applicant always gets the last word. So if you were going
That's
to,
fine. You can
I appreciate you letting him do that. If you'll step back up, and again, we want to stay specific to the zoning request for this property.
Yeah, and I just wanted to just clarify, I'm gonna go point at it.
Sure.
This entrance here is the problem with trucks coming in here. If you do a survey, a traffic survey, they're gonna always probably have to come in this way, but that's the area that I think was mostly concerning. For me personally, as an owner here, when Howard came by and talked to us, he thought he was gonna come in this way around the racetrack. And if you got event centers, or even as today, we don't put an event center, you got horses running around in here, we've got a lab here, you can barely get a pickup truck through here, let alone semis. And this lot, and the Dillinger's lot, which I drew those lines when we did the subdivision, does not have any easements going through them. This is a very interesting problem here, but the traffic up here is not the issue for us. The traffic is when you start bringing trucks in here and bringing them around the farm, the horse track, the residential area. You know, you're talking a lot of traffic in semis, and I just wanted to clarify that.
Thank you.
That's our concern more down towards the residential, not up by the
Thank you.
highway. Thank you.
Can I readdress that? When I
Yes, you
spoke
can.
with James about that, we thought we had access around that part. We don't. So our easement will stop at the strip of the Dellinger property that you see coming off of their,
Will you go over to the board and just show us where that is?
So,
Thank you.
This Terraform did not get an easement across Dellinger, nor did they get an easement across James's property. So the easement ends here. But I mean, there's no reason for me to go here if I can't get in back there. So my track will likely just come in through here.
Okay, thank you. All right, I will, again, the applicant, any questions for the
I just have
applicant?
one that we're going all the way back to the beginning, Howard. So why did you want to be in the city?
Yeah.
City services.
Howard, if you would come to the podium so they have recorded.
So I want to be eligible, Howard Smith, 150 Cherokee Circle. I'd like to be eligible for city services. My kids went to the Cartersville schools. My grandkids are going to the Cartersville schools. I want my taxes to go to the city taxes. And I enjoy working with Randy and David. They're easier to work with right now than the county is. That's just the bottom line. Thank you.
So my small little caveat to that is, in the last meeting, you know, we talk about, Randy, does residential touch this property at all?
Yes, Billy's Farm to the left, there's a zoning map.
I thought that was. So all of that is
R20. Residential.
R20 to the west of Howard's request.
but the A1 and the L1.
A1 is county.
That's all in the county.
Okay, that's the reason I'm
There's
misreading
the
that
city
map.
Yeah.
zoning map. The white is the county jurisdiction.
Gotcha. Okay. So,
The R20 Billy's Farm there, and above that, Mr. Colbert's purchased the property that was
Yeah.
zoning,
but it's still just,
Still zoned R20,
still zoned R.
okay.
undeveloped.
And in the county, there's a 200-foot buffer, and in the city, it's 35 foot,
Correct.
which is significant.
Correct.
And that has no reason for your request. You don't, the
I
buffer.
mean, I'd like to have the lesser buffer, yeah.
Okay. You need it for your operations.
Yeah, I mean, I can't, yeah, that's right.
Any other questions or discussion at this time on the zoning portion of the request, AZ 25-04?
Do we still have to do the,
I'm moving on with the meeting, and just give me just a second, okay? Thank you, Billy. I'm going to open up a public hearing for the annexation portion of AZ 25-04. And keeping in mind that all comments that were made both in the first reading, in the zoning and annexation portion, and in this meeting, in the zoning portion, are part of the record here for this annexation request. So, we're speaking specifically about the annexation into the city of this piece of property in this public hearing, and I'll open up that public hearing, and the applicant has the first opportunity to speak.
Howard Smith, no further comments, just ask that you approve the annexation as well. Thank you.
Thank you. And again, now, Mr. Wright, as we're in the public hearing, you're certainly welcome to come up and speak.
Once again, I'm opposed to the annexation because I really don't understand the rules as far as annexation from the county to the city and the rezoning of light industrial next to residential really goes. And in closing, I think that the access to the driveway is the Wyman families. I don't think this is in the best interest of putting light industrial next to residential. It's never been done. And who knows what could happen in the future. But from right now, I think that from my standpoint, we haven't had a traffic study. We haven't had a stormwater study. We've never annexed a piece of property from the county to the city, zoned it light industrial, and put it right next to residential. And the access to the road is a big deal. Correct. So thank you guys, and I hope you'll table this or wait on it till we figure it out.
Just for a point of clarification, I feel with pretty good confidence that the city has indeed annexed light industrial property into the city before and had it next to residential property. I can't cite, but it's not that uncommon of a practice. And in our zoning codes, it does provide for buffers for such. So we don't set precedent with local government, but the fact is,
okay, well, maybe you have. I don't know. I was just taking a stab at it.
Okay, well, I understand. I'm not saying I fault you for
I just
that,
don't
Mr.
think
Wright.
this is the right thing to do. You know what I'm talking about.
I understand.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. And again, we're continuing on with the annexation portion of AZ 25-04. Anybody wishing to speak for or against may do so at this time. Does the applicant have any closing statement?
Just to address that last comment, both of my trailer yards right now are adjacent to residential properties. So it happens. And again, no complaints. I showed the Planning Commission a slide that showed where the home at 239 North Irwin Street, which is adjacent to my trailer yard at 255 North Irwin Street, increased in value. Do you have that presentation from?
We saw it last time.
Okay.
You showed it to us last
Okay,
time.
I'm sorry. Yeah. The home next to my trailer yard increased in value 68% while the trailers were there. So, and then on Redcomb Drive, like I said, there's a house just to the right or left of it, and there's an apartment complex right across the street. So industrial can exist next to residential, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Thank you.
Thank you. I will close the public hearing for the annexation portion of the request AZ 25-04. I will turn it over to council for consideration of the annexation portion of that request.
Mayor, can I just get Randy just to confirm a couple things?
This is the time for us to do that, so.
Yeah, just those concerns that Mr. Wright wrote up as far as traffic study, stormwater runoff, all that, that's done in the development process, right?
Yeah, during the development review process, when a plan is submitted.
And if they're not to our standards, then they don't move forward.
That is correct.
Yeah, thank you.
There's procedural processes.
Yep.
There's a process.
Okay. Other questions or discussion?
I think all the property east, or I guess it would be east of that, because on
That way
River
would
Drive
be, that way would be west.
would be west. Either way.
I'm sorry.
Direction of challenge.
Right,
Sure.
Is light industrial like Swisher Drive, River Drive? That's all light industrial that is abuts
Yeah.
the same property.
Where Logan just pulled it up, all the gray is light and heavy industrial.
Right.
A portion of where the plant currently is, I believe, was just rezoned by the county back to industrial. It was on mining with all the industrial activity on it.
Yeah, and I think that this, I mean, it's a fair concern, but I think, this is like down in this part of the city is where, and there's other parts of the city where we have the light industrial and the residential where we start to come into that, or commercial and residential, and that has been part of the growth of it, and that's, you know, that interaction, that conflict, that tension there, and I mean, it's not lost on me. I mean, I appreciate it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Any other questions or discussion on the annexation portion of AZ 25-04? And if there's none, a motion would be in order.
Motion to approve.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously. We'll move on to the zoning portion of AZ 25-04. And are there any questions or discussion need to be had relative to the zoning of said property? If there's none, a motion would be in order.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Mr. Menino, if you'll continue us on with the annual update.
Thank you again, Mayor and Council. This is something we have to do annually because we have an impact fee ordinance in the books. With that, we did a public hearing back in November, updating data for the Department of Community Affairs and the Northwest Georgia Regional Commission. With that, we have to formally adopt it. The data was sent to them. They've reviewed it, sent it back, and this is the last step in the process that we do annually to keep that impact fee ordinance in place.
Okay. Thank you. Any questions, comments, or motions?
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Thank you, Randy. Mr. Porter, you've got the next item.
Yes, Mayor, this is for the water and sewer revenue bonds, the second reading of the ordinance. We're looking to issue the bonds if approved in February for the continued expansion of the water and wastewater plants. And this is recommended for your approval as amended.
Thank you. Any questions or discussion? If not, a motion is in order.
I make a motion to approve as amended.
Second.
All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Mr. Bagley, you are up, sir.
Yes, sir, thank you. This request is for the approval of the updated costs for the city calendar due to doing a second run of the calendars for the additional addresses on our directory. The original amount approved was $15,882.41, and the updated cost is $25,071.48.
Thank you for that. Any questions for Logan on this? If not, a motion's in order.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Thank you, Logan. Mr. Lovell, you've got the last two items. I'll let you take them in whichever order you want to. How about that?
Thank you. The first one is, there's an unnamed street about 230 feet east of the intersection of the eastern right-of-way of 41 and the northern right-of-way of Xena Drive, which basically is right behind where the Enterprise car place is. That road is being used by various people for parking, and the parking there is actually interfering with the access for the property owners along that road to use their property. City staff and the police department have gone out and met with the adjoining property owners who have been using that and have asked them numerous times to stop that. They stop for a day, and then the next day they have 50 more cars out there. Basically, because of that, the chief of police contacted my office and Mr. Porter and said his recommendation would be that we make this a no parking zone in the city, and that way the police can go out there and enforce it, and no vehicles would be allowed to park along that street. You've got some pictures up there of it, and it is recommended by staff for your approval, and due to the interference with the access for the property there, we are recommending that it be an emergency reading.
I agree with that assessment. And is there any other discussion on this item?
I wasn't here for the work session, but should we name this thing? Is
The
there a reason it's unnamed?
About Wrong Step Road.
Yeah.
That's perfect.
Put two P's on it.
No parking road?
We probably will name it. I was actually going to ask David Hardigree to look into doing that for us in the future. His office handles the naming of streets, so let him do that. Though if we do name it, we would have to amend the ordinance later.
We'll name it Jay.
I'm not trying to create more.
We'll name it
work.
Jace Place, is that?
Yes.
No parking, perfect. No parking streets.
That notwithstanding,
With that, I make a motion to approve this, Mayor.
as an emergency reading?
Yes, absolutely.
Thank you. Got a motion and a second. All in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Motion carries unanimously. Final item, Mr. Lovell.
Yes, as y'all remember, at the last meeting, I mentioned to y'all that we were in the process of finalizing negotiations to acquire property for a fire training facility. We have done that, and I've gotten the contracts in hand. As I told y'all then, it would probably cost about $3 million to acquire these 8 tracks, plus closing costs. I have the contracts. I am going to recommend that y'all approve all of those tonight and authorize my office to conduct the closings on behalf of the city. The addresses are 207 Cassville Road, 215 Cassville Road, 217 Cassville Road, 12 Harris Street, 14 and 16 Harris Street, off Harris Street, unaddressed road, and 209 Cassville Road. And closings on these properties, one will happen this week, I'm assuming y'all approve it, and then one will happen before January 20th, and the others are scheduled to close various times between now and the 1st of April.
Thank you. I'll save some folks a Google search and some wondering. That is the property that is just to the north side of our current public safety headquarters. And I want to thank Mr. Lovell and Mr. Porta and council for kind of taking this step. What this will do with us by acquiring this acreage, the purpose for acquisition is to be the future home of our fire training center, which will be adjacent to our public safety headquarters. It'll allow us to have potentially room in the expansion that generations down the road may have to worry about. I don't think I will. But it also is a cost savings because there are already classrooms and other things that are set up in the public safety headquarters that won't need to be rebuilt should we put a training center somewhere else. In addition to the fact, while our staff is training, they are right there by the office to where the response, should there be an emergency during that training, would be needed. So I think this is a really important and positive step for the city, and I'm glad we're all together in making that step. So that being said, Chair will entertain a motion.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. That's going to be awkward if y'all didn't approve that.
Yeah. We were close. It was different.
Is there any other business that needs to come before council this evening?
Don't forget to give Julia your 5 back.
Only if you have one.
I'll do that. So,
Some people were smart.
another reminder that our meeting, we typically meet on the 1st and 3rd Thursdays of the month, and because obviously this isn't a Thursday, we moved that back from the 2nd. Our second meeting here in January will be on the 4th Thursday, which is actually January 22nd. So we won't meet next Thursday, we'll meet the Thursday after that, and then of course we'll be on our 1st and 3rd Thursday schedules moving forward in the city unless otherwise directed. Also, before we meet again, the city offices will be closed for the MLK holiday. Again, those that have Monday garbage service, leave your garbage out on Tuesday. Correct. We'll get to you. Anything else to add?
No, that's it.
All right. There be nothing else. Chair will entertain a motion.
You never use it.